Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are continuing on and TryHackMe. This is the credentials harvesting room. This is apply current authentication models employed in modern environments to a red team approach. Now, let's go ahead and dive into it. Task 1, Introduction. Welcome to Credentials Harvesting. This room discusses the fundamental knowledge for red teamers taking advantage of obtained credentials to perform lateral movement and access resources within the AD environment. We will be showing how to obtain, reuse, and impersonate user credentials. Credential harvesting consists of techniques for obtaining credentials like login information, account names, and passwords. It is a technique of extracting credential information from a system in various locations such as clear text files, registry, memory dumping, etc. As a red teamer, gaining access to legitimate credentials has benefits. It can give access to systems lateral movement. It makes it harder to detect our actions. It provides the opportunity to create and manage accounts to help achieve the end goals of a red team engagement. Learning objectives: understand the method of extracting credentials from local windows to the SAM database. Learn how to access Windows memory and dump clear text, passwords, and authentication tickets locally and remotely. Introduction to Windows Credentials Manager and how to extract credentials. Learn methods of extracting credentials for domain controller. Enumerate the local admin password solution, known as LSASS feature. Introduction to AD attacks that lead to obtaining credentials. Room prerequisites. We strongly suggest finishing the following AD rooms before diving into this room. So go ahead and complete these and then come back to this room if you're interested. All right, so we already got everything fired up, ready to go. Hit complete here. I'm going to get to task 2, credentials harvesting. And let's see what they got. Credentials harvesting is a term for gaining access to user and system credentials. It is a technique to look for or still store credentials, including network sniffing, where an attacker captures transmitted credentials. Credentials can be found in a variety of different forms, such as account details, usernames, passwords, hashes that include NTLM hashes, etc. Authentication tickets. Tickets granting ticket TGT, ticket granting server TGS. Any information that helps log in to a system, private keys, etc. Generally speaking, there are two types of credential harvesting: external and internal. External credential harvesting most likely involves phishing emails and other techniques to trick a user into entering his username and password. If you want to learn more about phishing emails, we suggest trying the THM phishing room. Obtaining credentials through the internal network uses different approaches. In this room, the focus will be on harvesting credentials from an internal perspective where a threat actor has already compromised system and gained initial access, aka an assumed breach. We have provided a Windows 2019 server configured as a domain controller to follow the content discussed in this room. Deploy the machine and move on to the next task. You can access the machine in browser or through RDP with the credentials below. Ensure to deploy the attack box as required, which will have both of them fired up as you can see here. Task number 3, credential access. And let's see what they say here. Credential access is where adversaries may find credentials in compromised systems and gain access to user credentials. It helps adversaries to reuse them or impersonate the identity of a user. This is an important step for lateral movement and accessing other resources such as other applications or systems. Obtaining legitimate user credentials is preferred rather than exploiting systems using CVEs. For more information, you can visit the MITRE ATT&CK framework TA0006. Credentials are stored insecurely in various locations and systems: clear text files, database files, memory, password managers, enterprise vaults, Active Directory, network sniffing. Let's discuss them a bit more. All right, first one is clear text files. Attackers may search a compromised machine for credentials in local or remote file systems. Clear text files could include sensitive information created by a user containing passwords, private keys, etc. The MITRE ATT&CK framework defines it as unsecured credentials, and files. The following are some of the types of clear text files that an attacker may be interested in: commands history, configuration files, web app, FTP files, etc. Other files related to Windows applications, internet browsers, emails, etc., backup files, shared files in folders, registry, and source code. Not listed on here, but SharePoint is also a great location because people put all types of stuff in, like OneNote files, text files, whatever. They like to upload that to SharePoint. So if you're doing an engagement, I would check there. As an example of a history command a PowerShell saves executed PowerShell commands in a history file in a user profile in the following path, which is here. So I'm going to copy and paste in case we have to navigate to this. So let me go ahead and do that. It might be worth checking what users are working on or finding sensitive information. Another example would be finding interesting information. It says, for example, the following command is to look for the password keyword in the Windows registry, which is that. So let me go ahead and fire up this here, and let's just see if we can go into PowerShell. Hopefully this doesn't lag today, but we'll find out. All right, now as you can see, I did the type command on it, and there's not much of anything in here, right? Just stuff I typed today, so not much value there. But you can check that in a production environment and see if you come up with anything here. So I'm running this here, this searching for password in registry, and so you can use this one as well. And while that's running, let's go ahead and continue on. Database files. Applications utilize database files to read or write settings, configurations, or credentials. Database files are usually stored locally in Windows operating systems. These files are an excellent target to check and hunt for credentials. For more information, we suggest checking THM Room. Breaching AD. It contains a showcase example of extracting credentials from the local McAfee endpoint database file. Password managers. A password manager is an application to store and manage users' login information for local and internet websites and services. Since it deals with users' data, it must be stored securely to prevent unauthorized access. Examples of password manager applications: built-in password managers, Windows, third-party, KeePass, OnePass, LastPass. It says, however, misconfiguration and security flaws are found in these applications that let adversaries access stored data. Various tools could be used during the enumeration stage to get sensitive data and password manager applications used by internet browsers and desktop applications. This room will discuss how to access the Windows Credentials Manager and extract passwords. Memory dump. The operating system's memory is a rich source of sensitive information that belongs to the Windows OS users and other applications. Data gets loaded into memory at runtime or during the execution. Thus, accessing memory is limited to administrator users who fully control the system. The following are examples of memory stored sensitive data, including clear text credentials, cache credentials, AD tickets. In this room, we will discuss how to get access to memory and extract clear text passwords and authentication tickets. Active Directory. So Active Directory stores a lot of information related to users, groups, configures, etc. Thus, enumerating the Active Directory environment is one of the focuses of the Red Team assessments. Active Directory has a solid design, but misconfiguration made by admins makes it vulnerable to various attacks shown in this room. The following are some of the Active Directory misconfigurations that may leak users' credentials. Users' description. Administrators set a password in the description for new employees and leave it there, which makes the account vulnerable to unauthorized access. Group policy sysvol. Leaked encryption keys let attackers access administrator accounts. Check Task 8 for more information about vulnerable version of sysvol. ntds contains AD users' credentials, making it a target for attackers. That is the AD database. AD attacks. Misconfiguration makes AD vulnerable to various attacks, which we will discuss in task number 9. This is network sniffing. Getting at initial access to a target network enables attackers to perform various network attacks against local computers, including the AD environment. The man-in-the-middle attack against network protocols lets the attacker create a rogue or spoof trusted resources within the network to steal authentication information, such as NTLM hashes. Using the reg query command, search for the value of the flag keyword in the Windows registry, and then I guess type it in here. Enumerate the AD environment we provided. What is the password of the victim user found in the description? So go ahead and pause the video and try to find it yourself, and then come back. We'll take a look. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on here. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out, and then we're going to try the same query we did earlier, except we're going to use, it says flag keyword. So let's type in flag. And let's see if anything comes back. Let's see, there's going to be a lot of stuff to sift through here. All right, now we're back. And you can see that we can use that query we found out earlier, right? You just pipe it into find string and it's searching flag and it pulled it up here. And there's the password for that first one. And then the second one wants us to get the user that has the password in the description. You could do that using the get 80 user filter properties, select name, etc., as you can see there, right? And you can see that it says change the password, and there's the password for that account. Okay, it says THM victim. So let's go ahead and continue to task number 4, local Windows credentials, and let's see what they have for us here. In general, Windows operating system provides two types of user accounts, local and domain. Local users details are stored locally within the Windows file system, while domain users details are stored in the centralized Active Directory. This task discusses credentials for local user accounts and demonstrates how they can be obtained. Keystrokes. Keylogger is a software hardware device to monitor and log keyboard typing activities. Keyloggers were initially designed for legitimate purposes such as feedback for software development or parental control. However, they can be misused to steal data, as a red teamer hunting for credentials through keyloggers in a busy, interactive environment is a good option. If we know how a compromised target has a logged in user, we can perform key logging using tools like Metasploit frameworks or others. We have a use case example of exploiting users via keystrokes using Metasploit in another THM room. For more information, you should check out THM Exploit Active Directory. Task number 5, Security Account Manager, known as SAM. The SAM is a Microsoft Windows database that contains local account information such as usernames and passwords. The SAM database stores these details in an encrypted format to make them harder to retrieve. Moreover, it cannot be read and accessed by any users while the Windows operating system is running. However, there are various ways and attacks to dump the contents of the SAM database. First, ensure you have deployed the VM, and then confirm we are not able to copy or read the SAM file, which is located here. And I'm going to copy and paste here just so we can verify that information. So clear screen, type it in there. All right, don't have access. Okay. And it says we need to copy it here, so let's go ahead and do that. Copy this. Oh, we need this whole thing because we're going to use by another process here. Okay, so let's see here. Probably gonna get access denied again if it lets me copy. Let's try this again. Okay, access denied. Okay, and this is a long one here. Yeah. Okay, I'm assuming. Yeah, this is broken up like that. It's kind of confusing to look at. But yeah, access denied. So, um, actually, that was the same thing. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here and see what they're talking about. Metasploits, hash dump. The first method is using the built-in Metasploit feature, hash dump, to get a copy of the content of the SAM hashes. The Metasploit framework uses an memory code injection to the LSASS.exe process to dump copy hashes. For more information about hash dump, you can visit the Rapid7 blog. We will discuss dumping credentials directly from LSASS process and another task. And this is what it looks like here. Interpreter, get UID, okay, admin, they did hash dump as the administrator account, dump those hashes for all the accounts on that box. And it says volume shadow copy service. The other approach uses the Microsoft Volume Shadow Copy Service, which helps perform a volume backup while applications read write on volumes. You can visit the Microsoft documentation page for more information about the service. More specifically, we will be using WMIC to create a shadow volume copy. This has to be done through the command prompt with administrator privileges as follows. 1. Run the standard CMD prompt with administrator privileges. 2. Execute the WMIC command to create a copy shadow of C drive. 3. Verify the creation from step 2 is available. 4. Copy the SAM hashes from the volume we created in step 2. Now let's apply what we discussed above and run the cmd.exe with administrative privileges and then execute the following wmake command. So let's go ahead and do that. We got, let me go ahead and minimize this as well. And right click and run as admin. Yes, okay. Awesome, now we're the administrator. And let's see, we're just gonna copy and paste like so. Okay. It looks like it finished successfully. Once the command is successfully executed, let's use the VSS admin volume shadow copy service administrative command line tool to list and confirm that we have a shadow copy of the C drive volume. And let's go ahead and copy and paste this over, list the shadows like so. Okay. Contain one copies. Okay, it looks good to go here. And let's continue. The output shows that we have successfully created a shadow copy volume of C, which or with the following path. As mentioned previously, the SAM database is encrypted either with RC4 or AES encryption algorithms. In order to decrypt it, we need a decryption key, which is also stored in the file systems from C Windows System 32 config system. Now let's copy both files, SAM in system from the shadow copy volume. We generate it to the desktop as follows. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this over and clear the screen. There we go. That's one, and then there's the second one here. Okay, looks good. Now we have both files required. Transfer them to the attack box with your favorite method. SCP should work. It says registry hives. Another possible method for dumping the SAM database content is through the Windows registry. Windows registry also stores a copy of some of the SAM database contents to be used by Windows services. Luckily, we can save the value of the Windows registry using a reg.exe tool. As previously mentioned, we need two files to decrypt the SAM database contents. Ensure you run the following command prompt with administrative privileges. All right, and I'm assuming they want us to do this again. So let's go ahead and copy and paste like so. Okay, let's try this. I need to navigate to the desktop anyway. So let me try that. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. CD. Okay, awesome. Then we do a dir. Okay, there's our stuff here, looks like. And let me go ahead and clear the screen. Let's go ahead and copy and paste this over. Okay, awesome. Then the second one here. Okay. Okay, cool. It says, let's this time decrypt it using one of the impact tools, secrets dump.py, which is already installed in TACBox. The impact secrets dump script extracts credentials from a system locally and remotely using different techniques. Move both SAM and system files to TACBox and run the following command. So let's go ahead and do that. And then let's get into this secrets dump stuff here. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, be sure to hit that notification bell. All right, so you know every time I post a new video. As you can see here, most people that view my videos, view my channel, are not subscribed. Now, if you do subscribe, it will help me get into the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to grow our glorious community here. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day and enjoy the video. Now I have transferred all the files over using SCP star root at IP address of the attacker box colon /root /dot. Okay. Now if you're using the attack box and you need to get your creds, be sure to flip over to the attack box tab here, and then you're gonna hit this little eye icon down here, and it should pull up the information you need. And as you can see here, I did ls on it, and you can see that I have all that information over here, all the files, right? Creds.txt, SAM, system, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and continue. Now it says let's this time decrypt it using one of the impact tools, which is secrets-dump.py, which is already installed in the attack box. The impact secrets dump script extracts credentials from a system locally and remotely using different techniques. Move both SAM and system files to the attack box and run the following command. So I'm going to copy and paste. All right, now be sure to delete this temp directory stuff here. Okay, like I have it outlined here. I deleted all that stuff. Now it should work. All right, so hit enter there. There we go. Decrypted. Got the hashes. Just note that we use the SAM and system files that we extracted from Windows Registry. The -SAM argument is to specify the path for the dump SAM file from the Windows machine. The -system argument is the path For the system file, we use the local argument at the end of the command to decrypt the local SAM file, as this tool handles other types of decryption. Note, if we compare the output against the NTLM hashes we got from Metasploit's hash dump, the result is different. The reason is the other counts belong to Active Directory and their information is not stored in the system file we have dumped. To decrypt them, we need to use to decrypt them, we need to dump the security file from the Windows file, which contains the required files to decrypt Active Directory accounts. Once we obtain NTLM hashes, we can try to crack them using Hashcat if they are guessable, or we can use different techniques to impersonate users using the hashes, aka pass the hash, stuff like that. Follow the technique discussed and is tasked to dump the contents of the SAM database file. What is the NTLM hash for the administrator account? So we already got that here. And I wonder if they want this whole thing in there. So let's go ahead and try it and see. Copy and paste. Nope. Okay. So they probably just want the first part of it. Let me go ahead and delete all this out of here. Nope, it's not what they're looking for. All right. And let's try this here. Okay. So I'm wondering if they're just maybe looking for the second half. There we go. All right. Awesome. So let's go ahead and continue on. Task number 5, local security authority subsystem service. That is a mouthful, aka LSASS. And let's see what they have here. What is LSASS? Local Security Authority Server Service. LSASS is a Windows process that handles the operating system security policy and enforces it on a system. It verifies logged in accounts and ensures passwords, hashes, and Kerberos tickets. Windows system stores credentials in the LSASS process to enable users to access network shares, such as file shares, SharePoint sites, and other network services without entering credentials every time a user connects. Thus, the LSASS process is a juicy target for red teamers because it stores sensitive information about the user account. The LSASS is commonly abused to dump credentials to either escalate privileges, steal data, or move laterally. Luckily for us, if we have administrator privileges, we can dump the process memory of LSASS. Windows systems allows us to create a dump file, a snapshot of a given process. This could be done either with the desktop access GUI or the command prompt. The attack is defined in the MITRE ATT&CK framework as OS credential dumping, LSASS memory, graphical user interface, the GUI. To dump any running Windows process using the GUI, open Task Manager, and from the Details tab, find the required process, right-click on it, and select Dump File. So if you want to go ahead and try that here, let's see if we can do it real quick. All right, now we gotta go to Details and then locate LSASS. There we go. Right-click this, create dump file. All right, obviously you gotta run it as administrator. So let's see here. Let's see if it'll let me do that. See, right-click and then it's not that one. Is it Alt? No. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Let's just continue. Once dumping process is finished, a pop-up message will show a show containing the path of the dump file. Now copy the file, transfer it over to attack box until hash is offline. All right, so we need to get administrative access to do this here. So let me find that out real quick, and then we'll come back. Apparently, you cannot do this because you're going to get that error that we just got, which is access denied. It says, note, if we try this on the provided VM, you should get an error the first time this is run until we fix the registered value in the protect LSASS section later in this task. Okay, so we'll come back to this. I wish that this had been stated before we tried to do this. But anyway, copy the dumped process to the Mimikatz folder. All right, so copy LSASS.dmp, LSASS.dmp copy, system terminal, suite. An alternative way to dump a process if a GUI is not available is using the procdump, okay? Procdump is a systemterminals process dump utility that runs from the command prompt. The systemterminal suite is already installed in the provided machine at the following path, C tools, systemterminal suite. We can specify a running process, which is in our case, lsass.exe to dump as follows. So let's see if we get an error this time. All right, so let's go ahead and do this here. And I wonder if we can just fire it off through here. If it let me copy. Of course, access denied. Yeah, all right. I guess we'll have to come back and try to do this later. Note that the dump process, writing to ntds, dumping the LSASS process, is also known as a known technique used by adversaries. Thus, AV products may flag as malicious. In the real world, you may be more creative and write code to encrypt or implement a method to bypass AV products. Mimikatz. Mimikatz is a well-known tool used for extracting passwords, hashes, pins, and Kerberos tickets from memory. Using various techniques, Mimikatz is a post-exploitation tool that enables other useful attacks, such as pass the hash, pass the ticket, or building golden Kerberos tickets. Mimikatz deals with operating system memory to access information. Thus, it requires administrator and system privileges in order to dump memory and extract credentials. We will be using the Mimikatz tool to extract the memory dump of the LSASS.exe process. We have provided the necessary tools for you, and they can be found via tools, Mimikatz. Remember that the LSASS process is running as system. Thus, in order to access users' hashes, we need a system or local administrator permissions. Thus, open the command prompt and run it as administrator, then execute Mimikatz binaries as follows. All right, so let's go ahead and do that here. So we're going to just cd into tools. So let me copy. All right, let's try this again. Okay, now let's go ahead and check, make sure everything's in here. There we go. So CLS, and then we're going to do Mimikatz.exe. Okay, fire this bad boy up, and let's continue on. It says before dumping the memory for cached credentials and hashes, we will need to enable the SE debug privilege and check the current permissions for memory access. It can be done by executing privilege debug, so let's go ahead and do that here. All right, so let's paste that over. Awesome. And it says once the privileges are given, we can access the memory to dump all cached passwords and hashes from LSASS.exe. Process using the following command here: sec your LSA, log on passwords. So let's go and do that. Error. Okay, let's see here. If we try this on the VM, it will not work until we fix it in the next section. Okay. Anyway, so if it does work, this is what it looks like here. You should get a similar output. Mimikatz lists a lot of information about accounts and machines. If we check closely in the primary section for administrator users, we can see that we have an NTLM hash. Note, to get users hashes, a victim user must have logged into the system and the user's credentials have been cached. Protect LSASS. In 2012, Microsoft implemented an LSA protection to keep LSASS from being accessed to extract credentials from memory. This task will show you how to disable the LSAT or LSA protection and dump credentials from memory using Mimikatz. To enable LSASS protection, we can modify the registry run as ppld word value, which is located here, to 1. Next steps are similar to the previous section, which runs the Mimikatz execution file with admin privileges, enables the debug mode. If the LSA protection is enabled, we will get an error message executing which we just saw here. Okay, so I guess we need to go ahead and do this here. Okay, it says the command returns a 0x blah 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 error code. X is not looking for us. Mimikatz provides a mimi drive.sys driver that works on kernel level to disable LSA protection. We can import it to Mimikatz by using the following. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so they want to do exclamation point and then plus. Okay, awesome. And note, if this fails, what an is file exists error, exit Mimikatz, navigate to tools, Mimikatz, and run the command again. Everything looks good to go here. Once the driver is loaded, we can disable the LSA protection by executing the following Mimikatz command. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this over. Okay, paste. Okay, looks like it's good to go. Now if we try to run the same command again, it must be executed successfully in cache credentials and memory. First, let's take a look at the first error we had before. Oh, right, I had to do that Mimikatz first. Anyway, let's go ahead and clear the screen and up arrow and run this again. Bam, now we're cooking with gasoline. And let's see here. Is LSA protection enabled? Yes, it was. Ready to disable it. If yes, try removing protection and dumping the memory using Mimikatz. Once you have done, hit complete. Awesome. So we're done with that. And I'm going to exit. And I'm going to try that command we tried earlier which was proc dump, right? Yeah. Okay, see, now proc dump is working fine. And if you want to go ahead and try that yourself, hey, there's a little homework for you. Go ahead and try this out and try to get the password that way. And I believe that was it. Oh, no, there was Task Manager. That's right. Try it with Task Manager as well, okay? Right click in there, and they can do create dump file. Now it's working, see? There we go. So go ahead and try that on your own, then come on back over here. We're going to continue on with the video. Task number 6, Windows Credential Manager. Let's see what they say about this here. This task introduces the Windows Credential Manager and discusses the technique used for dumping system credentials by exploiting it. What is Credentials Manager? Credential Manager is a Windows feature that stores logon sensitive information for websites, applications, and networks. It contains login credentials such as usernames, passwords, and internet addresses. There are 4 credential categories. Web credentials contains authentication details stored in the internet browsers or other applications. Windows credentials contains Windows authentication details such as NTLM or Kerberos. General credentials contain basic authentication details such as clear text, usernames, and passwords, and then certificate-based credentials. These are authentication details based on certificates. Note that authentication details are stored on the user's folder and not shared among Windows user accounts. However, they are cached in memory. Accessing Credential Manager. It says we can access the Windows Credential Manager through the GUI, control panel, user accounts, Credential Manager, or the command prompt in this task. The focus will be more on the command prompt scenario where the GUI is not available. So if you just go down here, I'm sure you can just type it in. There we go, Credential Manager. All right, you can pull it up here. That's what it looks like. You can see there's already some stuff in here. All right, so let me close out of this. It says we will be using Microsoft Credential Manager Vault CMD utility. Let's start to enumerate if there are already stored credentials. First, we will list the current Windows vaults available in the Windows target. So first off, let me go back to this here. So I'm trying to follow along with this and hit Control C on this. Okay, go ahead and clear all this out. CD, and this didn't copy again. Okay, here we go. Awesome. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to copy and paste like so. Okay, we got similar results. By default, Windows has 2 vaults, one for web and the other one for Windows machine credentials. The above output confirms that we have the 2 default vaults. Let's check if there are any stored credentials in the web credentials vaults by running the vault cmd command with list properties. All right, and then they're looking for web credentials here. So let's go ahead and do that, like so. Okay, and it appears so. We have something. And let's continue. The output shows that we have one stored credential in a specified vault. Now let's try to list more information about the stored credential as follows. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that here. Okay. So let me go ahead and copy and just paste this over. All right. So we have similar output. Microsoft Edge looks like. Credential dumping. The Vault CMD is not available, or sorry, not able to show the password, but we can rely on other PowerShell scripts such as the get web credentials.ps1, which is already included in the attached VM. Awesome. Ensure to execute PowerShell with bypass policy to import it as a module as follows. So let me flip back over to our PowerShell. Okay. And let's clear all this stuff out here. Looks like we need to, actually we can just do it from here. See this out and then PowerShell. Awesome. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay. Now we need to import it like so. Looks good to go. So now we can use stuff in it. There we go. Easy password seems to be the password for this. And it says the output shows that we obtained the username and password for accessing the internal application. Run as. An alternative method of taking advantage of stored credentials is by using run as. Run as is a command line built-in tool that allows Windows applications or tools under under different users' permissions. The run as tool has various command arguments that could be used in the Windows system. The /save cred argument allows you to save the credentials of the user in Windows Credential Manager under the Windows Credential section. So the next time we execute as same user, run as will not ask for a password. Let's apply it to the attached Windows machine. And the way to enumerate stored credentials is by using the CMD key, which is a tool to create, delete, and display stored Windows credentials by providing /list argument. We can show all stored credentials, or we can specify the credential to display more details using /list, computer name. All right, so let's follow along here with this first one. Okay, and let's go ahead and clear all this stuff out, paste this in. There we go. We've got some stored credentials here. It says the output shows that we have a domain password stored as thm-local user. Note that stored credentials could be for other servers too. Now let's use run as to execute Windows applications as thm-local user. So let's go ahead and copy and paste this over. We're going to run this and then open up a command prompt as this user. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Now we're running as that person's credentials. Here, a new cmd.exe pops up with a command prompt ready to use. Now you can do who am I, right? There we go. To confirm they're running under the desired user, there is a flag in the following directory here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and just use type. And let's try this again. I don't know what's going on with this copy today. Is it not letting me copy? That's weird. Let's try it. Okay, whatever. Let's just do it manually. So users, local, okay. Save games, and all right, there we go. So now we got this flag here, and hopefully let's recopy this. Let's go down here and paste it in. Apply the technique, clear text password. Okay, so we need to get here. Awesome. So we're gonna have to go back and fill in this stuff here as we go through. And let's just go ahead and continue where we left off. It's gonna talk about Mimikatz again. Let's see. Mimikatz is a tool that can dump clear text passwords stored in the Credential Manager from memory. These steps are similar to the ones shown in the previous section, memory dump, but we can specify to show the Credential Manager section only this time. So let's go ahead and fire up Mimikatz again. Okay, I flipped back over to our other command prompt that's running as the administrator. Okay, now we're going to do this get web credentials again. All right, I'm going to grab that password here, plug it in for this answer. Now the second one, we need to do Mimikatz. So let's get back into Mimikatz. All right, I'm going to up arrow. Actually, let's just do it this way. Scroll up and then launch it that way. There we go. Okay, and we do privilege debug. Okay, and then this here. Okay, and it says we need to get memory dump the credentials for the 10.10, 237, 226 SMB share, which is stored in the Windows Credential Vault. So let's see if it pulls up here. If we could find it. Okay, there's one. So let's see if there's any others in here. Okay, scrolling. What's this here? There's another one. 226. I wonder if this is it here. Copy this. Awesome. So let's go ahead and continue on with task number 7, domain controller. And it says, this task discusses the required steps to dump domain controller hashes locally and remotely. ntds domain controller. New Technologies Directory Services ntds is a database containing all Active Directory data, including objects, attributes, credentials, etc. The ntds.dts data consists of 3 tables as follows. Get schema table, it contains types of objects and their relationships. Link table, it contains the object's attributes and their values. Data type, it contains users and groups. It says ntds is located in C, Windows ntds by default, and is encrypted to prevent data extraction from a target machine. Accessing the ntds.dit file from the machine running is disallowed since the file is used by Active Directory and is locked. However, there are various ways to gain access to it. This task will discuss how to get a copy of the ntds file using the ntds util and disk shadow tool, and finally how to dump the file's contents. It is important to note that decrypting ntds file requires a system boot key to attempt to decrypt LSA isolated credentials, which is stored in the security file system. Therefore, we must also dump the security file containing all required files to decrypt. ntds util. It says, is a Windows utility used to manage and maintain Active Directory configurations. It can be used in various scenarios such as restore deleted objects in AD, perform maintenance for the AD database, Active Directory snapshot management, set directory services, restore mode, DSRM, administrator passwords. For more information about ntds util, you can visit the Microsoft documentation page, so check that out if you're interested. Local dumping, no credentials. This is usually done if you have no credentials available but have administrator access to the domain controller. Therefore, we will be relying on Windows utilities to dump the ntds file and crack them offline. As a requirement, first, we assume we have administrator access to a domain controller. To successfully dump the contents of the ntds file, we need the following files: ntds.dit, system, and security. The following is a one-liner PowerShell command to dump the ntds file using ntds util tool and ctemp directory. So you can launch this bad boy off, dumping the contents from the victim machine. And let's see if we can do that real quick. Let's go ahead and exit out of MCAS. I don't think we need it anymore. Clear the screen, and then let's go ahead and cd into ctemp if it exists. Yeah, it does not exist. All right, whatever. So that's an example of what it looks like here. Now, if we check the ctemp directory, we should see two folders, Active Directory and Registry, which contain the files we need. Transfer them to the attack box and run the secrets dump.py script to extract the hashes from the dumped memory file. All right, so let's go ahead and, I guess, create this real quick. Temp. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and make sure that's in there. Awesome. So let's go ahead and cd into temp and clear all this stuff out and copy and paste. Okay, creating snapshot. And then once we do that, we need to get the file back over to the attack box again. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to assume we're going to need to use SCP again, and then continue on after that. So let's go ahead and get this file over. All my file is transferred over to my attack box, so let's go ahead and flip it over to the attack box. Now we're going to run this here. Make sure to make the proper edits so it can work on your own machine. Hit enter. Now I should be going through and doing everything. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is remote dumping with credentials. It says, in the previous section, we discussed how to get hashes from memory with no credentials in hand. In this task, we will be showing how to dump a system and domain controller hashes remotely, which requires credentials such as passwords or NTLM hashes. We also need credentials for the users with administrative access to a domain controller or special permissions as discussed in the DC sync section. Okay, awesome. But yeah, you can go through and take a look at what you've done here. All right, see how it's went through and got all those hashes again and all this other additional information. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear all this out. DC sync. The DC sync is a popular attack to perform within an Active Directory environment to dump credentials remotely. This attack works when an special account with necessary permissions or AD account or AD admin account is compromised that has the following AD permissions: replicating directory changes, all, replicating directory changes in filtered set. An adversary takes advantage of these configurations to perform Domain replication, commonly referred to as DC sync or domain controller sync. For more information about the DC sync attack, visit the THM persisting AD room, task number 2. Or you can just watch my video on it. The persisting AD room uses the Mimikatz tool to perform the DC synchronization attack. Let's demonstrate the attack using a different tool such as Impacket Secrets dump script. And we're going to copy and paste this stuff over. Okay. And we're going to have to make an adjustment, it looks like here. They have a placeholder here for AD admin user. Okay. Which was, I think it was just admin, right? Let's try this, administrator. What was the password? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, it's admin. And then just password 123. All right, so let me go ahead and try that. Kill this. Clear all this out. Okay, I'm gonna paste it in. Awesome. So there we go. We just dumped everything remotely using secrets dump. So let's explain the command a bit more. The -just-dc argument is extracting the ntds data. The thm.read/admin user is the authenticated domain user in the form of domain/user. Note if we are interested to dump only the NTLM hashes, then we can use the just-dc NTLM argument as follows. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and give that a shot and see what they have. All right, so we want to put that. Okay. Oh, we already did that, didn't we? Oh, no, just DC up here. That's where we need to adjust it. Okay. So dash NTLM. Okay, the password again. We paste. There we go. Awesome. Once we obtain hashes, we can either use the hash for a specific user to impersonate him or crack the hash using cracking tools such as Hashcat. We can use the Hashcat-M1000 mode to crack the Windows NTLM hashes as follows. Path to hashes, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I'm assuming we're going to need to do that. So let's go ahead and just save these into the file. I wonder if we could just do it this way. Let's try this. TLM hashes.txt. See if this works. Okay, paste it in. And let's go ahead and cat it. Hashes. All right. We probably gotta get rid of this other stuff in here to get it working properly. All right. So I'm gonna clean this file up and then start cracking with the hashcat here in a minute. Answer the questions. Apply techniques discussed in this task to dump the ntds file locally and extract the hashes. What is the target system boot key value? Use the red THM as Active Directory user since it has administrative privileges. So go ahead and try to get that one. And then it says, what's the clear text password of the VK-admin username? And then get this one. And then come back to the video for continuing on with this room here. All right, first question, we need to get that boot key. Remember, we've got to do that local cracking again with the secrets dump, right? So I ran that again and then target system boot key. And this is the value you need to get right here. Now the second one, you got to use a hashcat to get it. Okay, so just follow the directions up here. Create that hashes file, which I've already done. So let's go back up here, right? So I did nano, put that hash in there for that particular account, which was bkadmin. And then I ran hashcat on it using this here. Hashcat did its thing, and then it went and found it. It says status cracked. Okay, and it's up here. So you got the hash right there, and you got the password right there that it found, right? And just to take a look, you can cat this hashes file. Okay, that's what I put in there to crack this. Now, task number 8, we're going to talk about local administrator password solution lapse. And let's see what they have here for us. It says this task discusses how to enumerate and attain a local administrator password within the Active Directory environment if a lapse feature is configured and enabled. Group Policy Preferences, GPP. A Windows OS has a built-in administrator account which can be accessed using a password. Changing passwords in a large Windows environment with many computers is challenging. Therefore, Microsoft implemented a method to change local administrator accounts across workstations using Group Policy Preferences, GPP. GPP is a tool that allows administrators to create domain policies with embedded credentials. Once the GPP is deployed, different XML files are created in the sysvol folder. Sysvol is an essential component of Active Directory and creates a shared directory on an ntds volume that all authenticated domain users can access with the reading permission. The issue was that GPP relevant XML files contain a password encrypted using AES-256-bit encryption. At the time, the encryption was good enough until Microsoft somehow published its private key on MSDN. Wow. Since domain users can read the content of the sysvol folder, it becomes easy to decrypt the stored passwords. Once the tools, one of the tools to crack the sysvol encrypted password is get GPP password. Local administrator password solution lapse. In 2015, Microsoft removed storing the encrypted password in the sysvol folder and introduced the local administrator password solution lapse, which offers a much more secure approach to remotely managing the local administrator password. The new method includes two new attributes, ms, mc, yada yada yada. You can see it here, of computer objects in the Active Directory. The ms-mcs-admin password attribute contains a clear text password for the local administrator, while the ms-mcs admin password expiration time contains the expiration time. To reset the password, lapse uses admin pwd.dll to change the local administrator password and update the value of ms-mcs-admin password. So that's what it looks like here. Um, enumerate for lapse. And I assume we have to get back over to the Windows box. Enumerate for lapse. The provided VM has the lapse enabled, so let's start enumerating first. Enumerating it. First, we need to check if lapse is installed in the target machine, which can be done by checking the admin pwd .dll path, like so. So I'm going to copy and paste this. And let's go ahead and clear all this stuff out. Okay. And it says the output confirms that we have lapse on the machine. Let's check the available commands to use for admin pwd command. Let's follows. So get command like so. So we'll go ahead and copy this, paste. Okay, there we go. Next, we need to find which AD organizational unit OU has the all extended rights attribute that deals with lapse. We will be using the find ADM pwd extended rights commandlet to provide the right OU. Note that getting the available OUs could be done in the enumeration step. Our OU target is, or in this example, is THM org. You can use the dash identity star arguments to list all available OUs. Okay, so if you want to do that, you can do this here. First, let's try just the star that they're talking about. And if let's copy this over. So you can do that, do it like this, and star. Okay, I guess you can't use that. Maybe not. Okay, whatever. Let's do this then. Okay, found that. I wonder why this did not work, the star. You have to do it like this. Let's see. Nope. Um, weird. Okay, whatever. So we got this one here. And It says the output shows the THM group reader group in THM org has the right access to LAPS. Let's check the group and its members. Okay, so net groups, that reader. All right, make sure this is correct. Well, we have a different one. Okay, this is LAPS reader group, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. Okay, BK admin. Let's see here. So, yep. Okay. So we need to do this as well. Net user. So let's do that. Net user BK admin. So we can pull up some information about this particular user. And it looks like they're in a domain admins, enterprise admins as well. It says getting the password. We found that the BK admin user is a member of the um, well, not this group, but the group we found before LAPS reader. So in order to get the LAPS password, we need to compromise or impersonate the BK-admin user. After compromising the right user, we can get the LAPS password using the get ADM blah 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 commandlet to or by providing the target machine with the LAPS enabled. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to copy and paste this over. Okay, there's the password. Awesome. It is important to note that in a real-world AD environment, the lapse is enabled on specific machines only. Thus, you need to enumerate and find the right target computer as well as the right user account to be able to get the lapse password. There are many scripts to help with this, but we included the lapse toolkit PowerShell script and the C tool to try it out. Okay, so let's see some questions here. Which group has extended right holder and is able to read the lapse password? Well, we saw that earlier, right? So it's going to be this here. I'm going to copy and paste if it lets me. Okay, grabbed it. Follow the technique discussed in the task. Get the last password. What's the last password for Creds Harvesting computer? There we go. And which user is able to read last password? Well, that was the BK admin, right? BK admin. Okay. Task number 9. Other attacks. Also, okay. So be sure to try this out too. What they're talking about here. Okay. That's additional homework for you guys to do. We're going to continue on with task number 9. Other attacks. And let's see what they're talking about here. It says in the previous task, the assumption is that we already had initial access to a system and were trying to obtain credentials from memory or various files within the Windows operating system. In other scenarios, it is possible to perform attacks in a victim network to obtain credentials. This task will briefly introduce some of the Windows and AD attacks that can be used to obtain the hashes before diving into more AD attack details. We suggest being familiar with Kerberos protocol and New Technology Land Manager (NTLM), a suite of security protocols used to authenticate users. Kerberosing. Kerberosing is a common AD attack to obtain AD tickets that helps with persistence. In order for this attack to work, an adversary must have access to SPN, service principal name, accounts such as IIS, user, MS SQL, etc. The curb roasting attack involves requesting a ticket granting ticket, also known as a TGT, and ticket granting service TGS. This attack's end goal is to enable privilege escalation and lateral network movement. For more details about this attack, you can visit the THM Persisting AD room, or you can check out my video on it. Let's do a quick demo about the attack. First, we need to find the SPN account, and then we can send a request to get a TGS ticket. We will perform the code roasting attack from the attack box using the get user spns.py Python script. Remember to use the thm.read thm account with the password of this as the password. So let's flip back over to attack box. All right, so we're going to copy and paste again. Okay, let me go back over to this here, and we don't need this anymore. So we'll clear all this stuff out. Okay, this looks good to go. And we're going to need this password, so copy and paste again. Okay, there we go. Okay, I've got a similar output here. The previous command is straightforward. We provide the domain controller IP address and the domain name, / username. Then the get user SPN script asks for the user's password to retrieve the required information. The output revealed that we have an SPN account, service dash or SVC dash user. Once we find the SPN user, we can send a single request to get a TGS ticket for the SRV user using the dash request dash user argument. Okay, looks like we're ready to go here. And interesting. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, we're gonna need to change that user because ours is different, right? So let's do SVC dash teach him this password again. Let's go ahead and copy and paste. There we go. Grabbed it. All right. Says, oh yeah, we're gonna crack with Hashcat, of course. Now it's a matter of cracking the obtained TGS ticket using the Hashcat tool, using -m 13100 mode as follows. So we're going to need to copy all this into a file. Okay, like so. Copy like that. Then I'll flip back over to our Hashcat stuff over here. And let's do a nano spn dot txt. Paste all this in. Save it. Okay. Go ahead and cat it. Make sure everything's in there correctly. Awesome. So clear it out. Now let's go ahead and do this hashcat on it with the RockU. Paste this in. Okay, and then user share word lists, and then RockU txt. Let that run. It says try replicating the steps again against the attached VM by finding the SPN user and then performing the curve roasting attack. Once you have obtained the ticket, crack it and answer the question below, which we're doing right now. So whenever this is finished, we can continue on here. We're going to talk about AS AS rep roasting. Okay, awesome, it's done. It says cracked. Okay, and then there's our password here. All right, so we're probably gonna need to grab that here in a second. Let's scroll back down here. First, it says use the script. What is the SP or service principal name password for the domain controller? And it's gonna be this here, so we don't forget. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. After finding SPN account, first question: what's the curve roasting tax? Oh, okay. It says enumerate the SPN user and packet script. What is the service principal name for the domain controller? Oh, okay. Let's go back over here, and it was this here. Yeah, I think should be it. Yep. So let's go ahead and talk about this this roasting here. AS rep, or I don't know how you pronounce it, AS rep roasting is the technique that enables the attacker to retrieve password hashes for AD users whose account options have been set to do not require Kerberos pre-authentication. This option relies on the old Kerberos authentication protocol, which allow authentication without a password. Once we obtain the hashes, we can try to crack it offline, and finally, if it is crackable, we got a password. This is what it looks like here. So I'm not sure if we have one like that, maybe. It says victim. So let's go ahead and check this ADUC here and see if this is in there. Let's go ahead and search the whole thing here. Let's see, victim. There we go. Okay, victim, and then we got to go to count, and then we need to scroll down. Okay, there, yeah, okay, awesome. Okay, it says the attached VM has 180 users configured with the do not require Kerberos pre-authentication setting before performing the AS rep roasting, we need a list of domain accounts that should be gathered from the enumeration step. In our case, we created a users.lst list in the temp directory. The following is the content of our list, which should be gathered during the enumeration process. Okay, looks like that. We will be using the npacket get npu or np user script as follows. So let's flip back over to the attack box. Take a look here. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. Let's go ahead and clear this out. And we're going to copy and paste. Okay, so it said we have this already, this list, right? All right, whatever. Um, we can just create it real quick. It's fine. It's probably somewhere on this box, but I don't feel like looking for it. So let's do users.lst and just going to copy and paste all the stuff in there. All right, save that file. Okay, looks good to go. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, yeah. And copy and paste this over. We don't need this anymore. Clear. Okay. And then the user file is called user list. Okay. And there we go. Right there. That should be it. Um, let's see here. We specify the IP address of the domain controller with the DC IP argument and provide a list of domain users to check against. Once the tool finds the right user with no pre-authentication configured, it will generate the ticket. Various cybersecurity and hacking tools also allow cracking the TGTs harvested from Active Directory, including Rubius, which is awesome. Check out Rubius if you're not familiar with it. And Hashcat. Npacket get NP users has the option to export tickets as John or Hashcat format using dash format argument. SMB relay. The SMB relay attack abuses the NTLM authentication mechanism, NTLM challenge response protocol. The attacker performs a man-in-the-middle attack to monitor and capture SMB packets and extract hashes. For this attack to work, SMB signing must be disabled. SMB signing is a security check for integrity and ensures the communication is between trusted sources. We suggest checking the THM exploiting AD room for more information about the SMB relay attack, or you can check out my video on it. LLMR LLMNR/NBNS poisoning. Link local multicast name resolution LLMNR and net BIOS name service NBT-NS help local network machines to find the right machine if DNS fails. For example, suppose a machine within the network tries to communicate with no existing DNS records, DNS fails to resolve. In that case, the machine sends multicast messages to all network machines asking for the correct address via LLM and R or NBT-NS. The NBNS, LLM, and R poisoning occurs when an attacker spoofs an authoritative source on the network in response to the link local multicast name resolution and NetBIOS name service traffic to request or to the requested host with the requested host with host identification service. If you want to learn more about this attack, we suggest checking the THM breaching AD room or look at my video on it. The end goal for the SMB relay and LLMNR, MBNS poisoning attacks is to capture authentication and TLM hashes for a victim, which helps obtain access to the victim's account or machine. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and clear this out, or go ahead and close out this video with the conclusion here. Recap. In this room, we discussed the various approaches to obtaining users' credentials, including the local computer and domain controller, which conclude the following. We discussed accessing Windows memory, dumping an LSASS process, and extracting authentication hashes. We discussed Windows Credential Manager and methods to extract passwords. We introduced the Windows Lapse feature and enumerated it to find the correct user and target to extract passwords. We introduced AD attacks, which led to dumping and extracting users' credentials. The following tools may be worth trying to scan a target machine. files, memory, etc. For hunting sensitive information, we suggest trying them out in the enumeration stage. Snaffler, never heard of that one. Seatbelt, I heard of that one. And lasagna, heard of that one as well. So check these out if you're interested. Right, so don't just stop at this room here. Continue learning as it states down here. All right, learning never stops. All right, be a philomath. Be a lover of learning. Have that hunger for learning and keep on practicing. Okay, build those skills up that you're probably going to be using in the real world. And that concludes this video. Okay, thank you all for taking the time to watch my video. As always, if you're liking the content, consider hitting that like button. Helps out the video, helps to get into the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscription button as well as the bell icon so you know when I post a new video. And then share the video with your friends if you feel like it. And I will see you later with the next one. Have a nice day.